What if Kokushibo didn't become a demon? Would he continue to live his life as a demon slayer, or would his story be completely different? Well, the first biggest change will be that Muzan won't have someone as strong as Kokushibo on his team, which would affect how he fights against the demon slayers. But before that, we need to analyze why Kokushibo would even decline Muzan's choice, knowing that the main reason he joined hands with Muzan was to escape the curse of Demon Slayer Mark and gain more strength than his brother to ultimately get revenge on him. Now, if by any chance Yoriichi wasn't as strong in this timeline, or alternatively they both had a good relationship with each other, Kokushibo wouldn't walk down the path of becoming a demon, or at least that's what I envision would happen. Now let's say Kokushibo is on good terms with Yoriichi. This would mean that both of them didn't have any tension, and Kokushibi's jealousy might not be as intense. Yoriichi would still run away from his house and potentially live the same life as he does in the original timeline. But Kokushibo would have a different upbringing. First, he wouldn't have a cold attitude with him at all times. He would be a more open person to a point, at least. Though his tone might still appear cold, he would be someone who would deeply care about his comrades deep inside. But there would also be different dynamics when it comes to him rejecting Muzan, and the reason for the first one might shock you. So here's where things get interesting. What if Kokushibo managed to master sun breathing before he rejected and met Muzan? Well, the sun breathing technique is the strongest and the first breathing style to ever exist. The only probable reason that Kokushibo couldn't master the sun breathing technique was that either he wasn't talented enough or not pure-hearted, just like Yoriichi. But what if in this timeline, he is? If Kokushibo somehow managed to learn it just like Yoriichi did, he would be far stronger than he was ever supposed to be. Now, what changes will he and Yoriichi face? After mastering sun breathing, the competition between him and Yoriichi will be far tougher, but there won't be any bad blood between them. Both of them will be closer in strength, to the extent that you could basically say that the Demon Slayers will now have another Yoriichi at their disposal. With the help of Kokushibo, a bearer of the Demon Slayer mark and sun breathing style, the Demon Slayers altogether will be a bigger threat to the demons. But will there be any other changes to the story? Well, arguably, there won't be any major changes in the first few events of the timeline until Kokushibo finally encounters Muzan himself. This time, their interaction will go a completely different route, as Kokushibo is competing against Yoriichi to get the head of the Demon King, which would be the only way he can get ahead of his twin, and is in no need of any more strength. He won't be joining hands with Muzan, and he won't even consider the offer at all. He will attack and utilize his sun breathing to get rid of him as fast as possible. Muzan will be disrupted by his heavy display of power. All the hits will take a toll on Muzan. In the original timeline, Kokushibo was the first one to meet Muzan. So now, instead of Yoriichi giving Muzan PTSD, it would be Kokushibo, and Muzan would still escape, seeing as even if he did master sun breathing, he doesn't have the same precision as Yoriichi, and Muzan would even sense Kokushibo's killing intent. In this battle, Tamayo also isn't present, so she won't be freed and would forever be Muzan's slave. Muzan wouldn't meet Yoriichi, as he's now more careful than ever. This would lead to a sudden rise in potential sun-breathing users in the future, as there are now two masters of the breathing style. The sun breathers won't be wiped out by Kokushibo and Muzan, like what they did in the original timeline, and the golden era of demon slayers would stay for centuries to come. The second theory that I came up with is, what if he rejected Muzan and actually managed to survive his interaction against him? Kokushibo's moon breathing is perfect for long to medium ranged attacks. He can keep his distance against Muzan and potentially find an opening to escape. And by some miracle, for the sake of the scenario, let's say he does with no life-threatening wounds. Now, what will happen after this? How will this affect both the demon and demon slayers parties? First of all, Muzan will go on to find a different breathing user to join his ranks of demon, but no one else would fall into the same criteria Kokushibo did. The demon side will lose someone with the strength of the first upper moon eternally. This time, Doma will take his spot, Akaza will follow him, and the rest of the ranks will be the same with an unknown sixth upper moon. The demons will face quite a loss, while demon slayers will have gained quite an advantage. Yoriichi won't be banished from the demon slayer corps because Kokushibo didn't betray them this time. In addition to that, they will retain a strong individual on their side. Kokushibo had enough potential to reach a Hashira's position even when he was a human. This would benefit the humans a lot, as he would still be present to help get rid of some wild demons during his stay as Demon Slayer. This also means that he might get rid of some lower or upper ranked Kizuki if he ever gets across them. So if you want to be as strong as Kokushibo Kokushibo or Yoriichi, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. So how will he continue his life now as a demon slayer? Well, most possibilities point towards him retiring soon and becoming a moon breathing teacher. In this era, as a demon slayer, he will be able to master moon breathing, as it remained unfinished during his previous time as a human. He will go on to teach a new generation of demon slayers, but just like how no one else could completely master the sun breathing technique, there is a chance there won't be potential candidates who would be good enough to master moon breathing as well. The most likely solution would be for him to pass his breathing technique down to his own family, as that would be the best option available. Though no one will be able to exactly master it. The breathing technique will be practiced by Kokushibo's family until Muichiro and Yuichiro are born. So for the sake of the scenario, let's say if other relatives of Kokushibo exist at that time, they will take in both Muichiro and Yuichiro after the unfortunate death of their parents. The twins will have great potential to master moon breathing and also unlock their demon slayer mark. Kokushibo's relatives will wholeheartedly teach both of them. Hence, this will compel them to become a strong demon slayer duo who would be unmatched even by the demons. The moon breathing technique will be his legacy after he dies because of the demon slayer mark. Both the Tokido siblings will inherit his wishes and reach the status of Hashira at an even younger age than Muichiro originally did. Together, they will be a force to be reckoned with. Moving on, the major changes will be noticed during the Swordsmith Village arc when both Muichiro and Yuichiro will be present together. Gyoko would easily get annihilated by both of them. Even with his blood demon art, he won't be winning as both the twins already have the demon slayer mark, which they would likely be born with, similar to Yoriichi and Kokushibo. Not to mention, the breathing style differences would be too much for him to handle. Moon breathing is fundamentally superior to mist breathing, which Muichiro previously used, and even that had Gyoko fighting on the edge. This means he won't have any chance this time. After taking care of Gyoko, both of them will head towards Hantengu. They will then help Tanjiro and the others defeat Hantengu, leading to even fewer injuries than they were ever supposed to have. Of course, there would be some changes when it comes to Tanjiro's abilities too, but that's a story for another what if. Now, what else will be changed after the Swordsmith Village arc? During the Infinity Castle arc, they will face Doma with Shinobu, while other Hashiras face their respective enemies in the original timeline. Zanemi, Genya, and Gyomei will also be free to move, which means that they will also go around and help take care of any demon they may encounter. Muichiro and Yuichiro, together with Shinobu, will be a deadly combo against Doma. The siblings will have amazing coordination. While one of them engages in close-range combat, the other will overwhelm the enemy with long to medium range attacks. Shinobu, on the other hand, will be waiting for an opportunity to inject her poison. All of them together will overwhelm Doma to such an extent that he will use his blood demon art, Crystalline Divine Child, to make clones of himself to assist him. But just then, Inosuke and Kanao will appear. They will take on the clones, while the three Hashiras will still directly face Doma. In a last-ditch attempt to take care of all of them, Doma will unleash his ultimate skill blood demon art, Rhyme, Water Lily Bodhisattva. Nevertheless, this will also be a meaningless effort, as either Yuichiro or Muichiro will easily decapitate him while he is weakened by the poison Shinobu injected him with. Finally, what will happen during the last battle against Muzan? Seeing as the Demon Slayers will have a very low amount of casualties this time around, they will have an overwhelming advantage on the Demon King. Tanjiro will, of course, still be the main attacking force, but he will be backed up by Yuichiro and Muichiro specifically. Everyone else will support them in their attack. Muzan, who will be drugged by Tamayo and Shinobu, will be extremely weakened. This means that the Demon Slayers will be able to take care of Muzan with much fewer casualties. Though it still won't be an easy task since they are still up against the Demon King, any wrong move could cost them their lives. Slowly and surely, they will be able to chip away at him, leading him to his death as they keep him busy until the sun arrives. And for the final theory, let's just say things took a darker route. In this timeline, Kokushibo is still with Yoriichi, but he doesn't get to use sun breathing. But does this mean he would still unlock the moon breathing technique? Totally. But this time, he won't develop it in an antagonistic response to Yoriichi unlocking sun breathing, but to be someone who could stand by his brother's side and help him in his battles. He would be a Demon Slayer's mark bearer just like his brother in the original timeline, which means he would be somewhat stronger than any average Demon Slayer, but not exactly as much as his brother. So considering all of this, how will his initial interaction with Muzan go? Muzan, wanting a demon who could use a breathing style, would again offer Kokushibo a chance to join him and become stronger. This time, Kokushibo won't have any specific reason to join hands with him, so he will decline Muzan's offers and fight him like in the second theory. He would use his moon breathing technique to hopefully decapitate Muzan, but this would be meaningless as Kokushibo isn't strong enough yet to directly face Muzan. Sadly, this time, he would be completely obliterated by Muzan, but he would die knowing that he was true to himself and didn't betray humanity. This will be overall a tragic fate for him. That's it for the theory of what if Kokushibo didn't become a demon. But before you go, you might want to check out the 45 unknown facts about Robin you didn't know too. What are you waiting for? Click it!